Wilson Bingo.
Hey, Kev.
Hey,
How are you?
I am great.
Are you excited?
Maybe a little.
Maybe a little?
Yep.
I'm excited. It's time
Why?
to celebrate the holidays.
Yes,
Are you ready?
I'm very ready.
All right, we have a great show lined up. So let's roll the intro and we'll get started. All right. Well, we're live, and here we are right now with part one of three holiday shows that we have lined up for today. I'm Amy Lichter. I'm here with Kevin Penner. Kev, what's your favorite holiday movie?
You know, can it be a tie? Can it be a tie with Elf and Home Alone?
Yeah, I'll give you that.
And then like Die Hard, like a close third.
Oh, I am on the side with you that Die Hard is a Christmas movie. So there's a lot of people out there that don't think that, but definitely a great holiday movie. And I do agree with your Elf one. One of my favorites is Love Actually, a great little holiday movie that I watch every year.
I forgot about that. I'm actually kind of enjoying the Netflix Christmas movies lately too. I have to admit. Jingle Jangle last year. Like I even downloaded some of the songs from the soundtrack.
Yeah. All right.
There's no shame.
Well, it's a great day to start talking about the holidays and start planning for the holiday season. So we have some great vendors lined up. Our first session here today, we have Unilever, Dessert Holdings, and Sterno. So why don't we turn it over to Kyla at Unilever to have a little hello.
Hello there, Kevin and Amy. I'm so excited to be here. This is one of my most favorite times of year. And of course, I've been looking forward to this show in particular. Also, I don't want to know anybody that doesn't consider Die Hard a Christmas movie. I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah.
But what I am going to talk about too today is the fact that we're going to show a few different dishes where we can use not too expensive of a product, but make them really, really special, really easily, tons of flavor. So I'm really excited to share that with you.
Awesome. Great. All right. And then over to Jeanette at Dessert Holdings.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. You know what? Christmas has exploded in my kitchen, as you can see. It's a beautiful way to get us in that spirit. I'm not sure the Christmas tree is going to go away, but we'll have to check that the next show. We are going to talk some indulgent options right now. There is a huge trend starting with all of us living through this pandemic that we are going to indulge, and we're going to get there. So we actually have a cheesecake-based breakfast coming your way, and then an over-the-top dessert.
Awesome. I'm excited. I love the desserts. So, all right. And then over to Thad at Sterno.
Sterno? Hi, good morning. Welcome. And we're super excited to show you a couple of different ways that we're going to make s'mores this morning. Traditional kind of approach, and then a more creative approach. Two different ways. S'mores are one of the most popular dessert items across the generations, and we're going to take them out of the summertime and move them into the holiday season. Can't wait to show you.
Awesome. Fantastic. All right. So, Kev, who are we going to start? We're starting with Kyla.
Yes.
All right.
Just gotta.
Also, by the way, that Thad was so surprised. The camera. Oh, hi. Nice to see you. So the first dish I'm going to do is actually going to be for those vegetarians or even vegans Everybody's got to have something really special during the holidays, right? And this is a really, really easy way to achieve that. What we're going to do is a mushroom bourguignon. So we're kind of going with the traditional components that you would typically have, but how do we make it so much easier? How do we make it so much quicker? Again, if you're going to be doing a lot of takeaway for your holiday items, or something that can be reheated, this is still good for that, because you want everything to get nice and saturated with all the flavors, and I have to talk with my hands when I talk about it. So what we have going on here is some oil in the pan. And then, like we would usually start, I'm going to do some shallots in here. So those were just already diced up, toss those in. The next that we're going to do is, of course, add some garlic. And I'm just actually going to smash these a little bit with the side of my knife here and just give a really, really rough chop to them, because that flavor is going to have that opportunity to really meld in there. So that's going to get going. The next thing we're going to add is some diced carrots. So again, we want to add a little bit more bulk to it. Traditionally, there would, of course, be pearl onions and carrots along with beef in a traditional bourguignon. So we want to get those. Again, any root vegetable, really, because we want to start talking about, we know the price of produce is going up, the price of meat is going up. This is a really nice alternative to that. And using root vegetables that are either local, obviously it's going to be seasonal because it's fall and winter, so great way to use those. I can already smell the garlic going on right now. So give those a little bit of a stir. And then I'm going to add in some tomato paste. And this is where I'm going to start building up the flavors before I add my very, very easy sauce that, again, will make it suitable for vegans or vegetarians. So a little bit of tomato paste, give it that depth and richness that you're looking for. And then the piece de resistance. So this is where I'm going to be using the Knorr brown gravy. So this is a instant thickening. It is a gluten-free vegan gravy. So easy to prepare. So what I'll actually do is, as I'm sauteing these vegetables, I will then add and actually mix the gravy together in the container. So it's not pre-made, sorry, in the saute pan. It's not pre-made, and that's how easy it is to really get that done. So we're going to see through the magic of television here. And usually you can deglaze with something, right? It could be a vegetable stock. It could be, I know I'm not allowed to talk about it, but that red fermented grapey goodness. But vegetable stock will also work just fine too. We want to keep the costs lower as well. And it's really just, again, about scraping up those good bits at the bottom of the pan. So taking the same care that you would with a traditional bourguignon. So I'm going to add the mushrooms in before I add the gravy mix. And I've got a mixture of portobello mushrooms and cremini mushrooms here, but really any mushroom. And throwing in even some dried mushrooms to give it some extra earthy flavors to it, I think is a great way of approaching that. So we saute that up. Oh my God, it smells so good already. So I'm going to add in my water. So this is going to be the base for our braising liquid. And then I've already pre-portioned out my gravy mix that I want. So the entire package of the Knorr gravy mix produces 4 liters of gravy. So again, really, really easy to prepare. It's already thickening really nicely here. And for that added flavor, I'm going to add some rosemary and some thyme. I'm not even going to chop it. I'm just going to throw it right in there. So that's going to simmer. And when we come back, I can show you a finished dish. But this will be our vegan bourguignon.
That's really exciting. It looks like it's a really fast dish to create too, Kyla.
Absolutely.
I'm just a little envious that Kyla has so much spare time. She's putting it in her recipes.
I do have one of the best jobs in the whole world, Kevin. I'm sure we could attest to. You and I have known each other for many years, and you know how much I love doing this. But it just does make it so easy, and I'm really relying on the sauce to add that complexity of flavor. So if I can do it, anyone can do it, guys.
Mushrooms are definitely a mainstay flavor for the fall. So, and I think that's something that can then continue through into the winter. So I'm excited to see the finished product.
Well, come on back later.
All right. Well, let's go get some sweet stuff over with Jeanette.
I've gotten ahead of you here for a couple minutes just because I want to get to the good part. So we are talking breakfast, believe it or not, and we're talking cheesecake. I know those two things don't normally go together, but so what I've done is made up my favorite pancake mix, and we're going to go with a sheeted pancake. As you can see, I've taken that pancake mix, I've spread this out. Now, a couple quick tips for this. Liberally coat that pan in melted butter, sides, all of it, because it's going to have a great rise. And you may want to consider adding a little bit of extra baking soda and baking powder to your recipe, because that's going to give you that little extra rise on this. So you've got your sheeted pancake. Your oven, believe it or not, should be up to about 500 degrees to start. I know it's crazy hot. It's going to mimic that griddle that you would normally put your pancakes on. As soon as you put this in the oven, turn it down to 400, let it bake for about 20 minutes or so, depending upon the oven. So here's where it gets fun. So we are using some Sysco branded little cheesecake minis. So I'm just going to bring these up there. That's a little chocolate chip, a little strawberry swirl. These are perfect little easy catering bites. But we want to, as always, I always like to give you guys some different uses for these. We're going to take these into some pancakes. I'm going to add a couple of these for the next recipe too to my little blender over here. So we'll come back to that one. So here's what we're going to do. I've got this sheet in front of me. I'm going to bring it back a bit so you can see there. So we're going to add in, we're going to split this in 3. So I'm going to do a third strawberry. We're going to go a third blueberry. And, you know, I mean, you can get technical on the measurements. You guys know I never really do. And we're going to go cheese or chocolate chips for this side. And then I've taken 3 of these and I've cut them up. I've just cut them in half and I'm literally putting them in the thirds.
Oh my goodness.
Strawberry. Whoops, almost threw it around there. Again, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. I like to work with this a little bit frozen. I find that it holds really well. When you have your final product, you can tell it's cheesecake in there. If it was not frozen, it's still going to taste amazing. So again, just dollop those over there. And that is ready, once I get rid of those sticky fingers, to go in the oven. Okay, so again, that crazy hot oven. And then you end up with something that looks a little like that.
Ooh.
Okay.
Wow.
So quick and simple, all the work's done in the oven. If you're thinking catering for a large group, this is an easy way to do it. Keep it warm. And then if I can just get out a few pieces here. Whoops, a little stuck, right? Plate up maybe one of each flavor. I'm going to go to this one here because there's our blueberry with our regular cheesecake, and there's our strawberry for the top. And then all of a sudden you have this decadent, beautiful breakfast option. Get rid of that guy. That you can decorate, finish off however you want. There's more of those kind of fresh seasonal berries, however you want to. A little maple syrup, of course. And then you've got this lovely breakfast ready to go.
That's a great alternative application. You know what I was thinking of when you were doing that? I don't know if anyone else, but like my mom, when I was a kid, would make that breakfast with the French toast with the cream cheese in the middle.
Yep.
And so it's like that cream cheese flavor at breakfast time. I think, yeah, it's definitely not just for dessert anymore. It's for all the time, right? That looks delicious.
That's just it. A quick and easy way to, again, use something that you've got in the freezer that you're putting on the catering tray. Take it into breakfast. It's a simple but decadent add. Throwing some stuff around. Simple decadent add that's going to just take that breakfast over the top.
Awesome. Jeanette, you touched on catering. And I think that, even though as we kind of progress out of the the pandemic, catering, there is going to be an element of catering over the holiday time. And those mini cheesecakes are a great option for the dessert side of things. They have the wrapper on them already. So from a handling perspective, it's easy. I think sometimes with catering, there'll be different ways that people are looking at it. They might have it where it is passed, or that's served by a server, or pre-plated. So, putting some of those on a plate with some fruit or other options and stuff like that. Great ideas.
Oh, absolutely. And quick and easy, as you said, pre-wrapped. They come pre-wrapped. It couldn't get any easier than this to pull it out and serve it, even to do a little mini trio, right? We're still seeing those desserts, whether in a seated restaurant scenario, even this is a little mini trio with that specialty coffee, whatever it may be. There's a ton of options. And we're going to get into the second recipe, using it in the milkshake. So lots of fun to be had with it.
I also just want to quickly say I love that you've taken like an item that I already have in my inventory that maybe some of my customers ordered last year, and I don't really want to necessarily add a new item, and yet you've taken an incredibly low cost ingredient in your pancake mix, and you've given me multiple new options that also scale great, like Amy said, for catering and volume.
That's just it. It doesn't have to be. It could be in your home kitchen, right?
Yes.
It's an easy way to serve it. Let's be honest. These are dinner tonight in my household, but it can be done at the restaurant level in a breakfast scenario. It can be done in the large scale catering. Easy to execute, easy to keep warm, and serve warm. And just tweak that oven temperature, play with it, find your favorite recipe for all the inclusions, and it's a beautiful idea.
Oh, fantastic. All right. Thanks, Jeanette. So let's go over to Thad at Sterno.
Hi, Thad.
I think we may be having some technical difficulties. So maybe why don't we we'll roll a commercial first, and then we'll come back and we'll see if Thad's able to connect with us at that time.
Fresh food and fresh ideas are at the heart of food and service. Working with the greatest team of supplier partners, Sysco delivers the big brands you expect, the Sysco brands you'll be delighted by, and the specialty items that will set you apart. Sysco also goes to great lengths to ensure that our suppliers and our state-of-the-art distribution warehouses maintain the highest safety standards, often above and beyond government regulations. With Sysco, quality is assured from fresh to finish. Creating memories with food starts with great ingredients. Sysco's brand family includes standout, authentic products such as Orizio's Italian staples, Butcher's Block Prime cuts, Sysco natural organic produce with the freshest field favorites, and more. Our brands are produced by partners who share our love for high-quality food products and our core values of integrity, excellence, teamwork, responsibility, and inclusiveness. Our assortment is always expanding. Find what you need today. The options are endless with Sysco. Visit sysco.ca to learn more.
All right. So Thad, are you able to hear us? And there we are.
I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
We can, yes.
Okay, we'll go. Hi again. I'm ready this time. So we're going to talk s'mores today. We've got a nice spread here. We've got, the classic s'mores that you see here, and we have the clothespin s'mores that we'll talk about in a moment. These are great for catered events, especially around the holiday season. Let me show you a setup that we have. This is a very small miniature version of a s'mores bar. We've used lava rocks here, but imagine a much larger piece that we have here. When we do trade shows, we often will serve thousands of people in boxes that are 12, 15 feet long, just like this, but this is a miniature version of the same thing. So this is great for catered events. It's great for restaurant events. The key to this, the success of a s'mores bar like this, is the fuel. And this is the Cisco 2-hour ethanol fuel that you see here. You see it's green inside. This is biodegradable. It's water soluble. It's odorless. It burns very clean. This is the chafing fuel that you want to use when you're making s'mores. And you can see we've placed 3 of these cans right inside this box. And I'm going to light these. Now, a couple of things to keep in mind with this chafing fuel. It gets very hot. This can, when it's lit, gets blazing hot. So you want to use extra care with handling it. So you get nice heat coming off of here. The other thing lots of people ask, how do we extinguish the fuel at the end of the event? The best way is to use a spoon just like this to put out the fuel and then wait about 15 minutes before you handle the cans again. So let's take a look over here. We've got a traditional layout here. This is marshmallows, chocolate, graham crackers, of course, but you can use your imagination to in your s'mores bar. You can use artisanal crackers. You can use bespoke marshmallows. You can use handcrafted chocolate. Anything you want, what your client wants is the great way to do it. Let me show you. This is a great self-service item. We roast the marshmallows, and when we do this show, when we do this this s'mores bar at an event, we typically use these really beautiful handcrafted marshmallows from a company in California. You can see the heat coming off of here really creates browning on the mushroom. I like mine a little dark, and then we place the chocolate here, and we've got a terrific s'more at your s'mores bar. So again, use your imagination. Tons of different things that you can do with it. But the key to the success of a s'mores bar like this is the Sysco fuel that you're going to use in it. So that's the 2-hour ethanol product, not the wick, not the methanol, but the ethanol. These burn for about 2 hours. They're producing a ton of heat. And just remember, the best way to extinguish this product is through a large spoon over the top of the can and wait about 15 minutes before you handle it. When we come back, we're going to touch on the Clothespin s'mores, which you see here, which is a really fun and creative way to make s'mores for a crowd.
Oh, awesome. That's like delicious. I think the other thing too sometimes is fun when it comes to s'mores. Earlier, Thad, you mentioned it about being a summertime because we think of campfires and camping, but you know, some hot chocolate and some s'mores, you know, sometimes a s'mores kit. It's a great way to add a little thing to add on to maybe a family meal that somebody might be offering for customers, is to add that s'mores kit. So I think that you could really bundle up something to give as a kind of a fun experience activity for people to do, take away at home from a restaurant as well. So
that is an incredible idea.
Right.
Never thought of doing that as a kit like that. And for those of you, like, you know, it's been not ideal conditions in Canada this summer with the weather and the drought. And I often I don't want to just say the kids, my wife and I love having s'mores too. But I love the fact, back to that idea that it's a very controlled environment. And so you could, you know, theoretically you could potentially do that as a kit. And, you know, I think at home we could set that up under the ventilation. Like, it's actually a very safe yet fun little idea. So wow, good for you.
yeah. All right. So let's go back to Kyla. I'm excited
the real key to this is you really can use imagination.
Yes, imagination.
Yep, for sure. All right, back to Kyla.
Hi. It's funny as, you know, Thad's talking about this. I mean, I love that idea of the s'mores and the open flame. And then I'm thinking I'm wearing something like this, which is probably highly flammable. You gotta love the Christmas stuff. But what an amazing idea. So just to kind of close out the last dish, you can kind of see here, I know it's not the best angle, but my mushroom bourguignon has a really, really rich flavor to it. The vegan gravy has some nice dark color to it. So a lot of complexity of flavor. And of course, if you want to see a picture later or a better image of it, Cisco Virtual Kitchen will be putting them out on IG. Right, guys? So the next dish that I'm going to do is roasted or a plum roasted chicken breast. So again, looking more towards those individual portions or something that can be great for delivery if somebody wants to order in around the holidays, as opposed to roasting an entire bird. So here we are going to add it with a pickled plum and roasted onion and garlic salad with some lemon. It's going to have a whole bunch of flavors. So this will be more of that complete meal that we're talking about. So the first thing we have here is no need to actually season the chicken breast. And I'll tell you why in a second when you see what I'm putting together as the marinade. So this is just pan-seared chicken breast. Get these done ahead of time, of course. Can toss them in the oven last minute, making sure that we've got the absolute right temperature for the customer for when they receive it. The glaze that's going to go on here before we actually roast it to really help enhance those flavors, because we're not having that really long cooking time and those fats that are really contributing to it as much as we would with an entire bird. Is we've used some, I have used some pureed plum. So that's just like straight up, you can get it in a jar, super easy. There's no sugar added to it. So you're really relying on kind of that tartness of the fruit, that depth that you're getting with it as well. And here I'm going to be using the Nor Intense Flavors Roast Umami. So this is a concentrated seasoning. It's in liquid format. This has roasted onions and roasted garlic as the major flavor components, but as is in the name with the roast umami, it really adds that extra, complexity to it, the satiating part of the umami that you want to get. So it's going to add to that protein. So you
Kyla,
can see this is
really quick. Let's say I had no idea what the heck umami is. I'm gonna add. Let's say I add that to my menu. What other recipes and things can I use it in, just so that I'm utilizing it?
Absolutely. So we know umami as being the next flavor sensory that we can kind of identify. So if you've got sugary, salty, or sweet rather, salty, sour, umami is kind of that fattiness that you experience, and it is naturally occurring in a variety of different ingredients. So mushrooms, like the bourguignon in itself, will have that meatiness to them because it has naturally occurring MSGs, which create that umami flavor. Parmesan cheese, tomatoes, these all have that richness that you can't quite describe. And I think more and more people are familiar with that term, that kind of taste, that flavor that they know that they're going to expect. And I think it just really indicates a richness to it. And so this is a really, really easy way to achieve that. In really creating flavor profiles. So it's not you're going to taste and go, I taste umami. It's more, it feels like a wholly finished dish, something that is really built up. So again, I'm going to add it to the plum. And you don't need a lot. And I'm just going to say this is why you don't necessarily need to season the chicken breast, turkey breast, whatever way you want to go with it. Is because, of course, it being concentrated, there is salt in this as well. So I want to make sure that I don't overdo that. So I've added a little bit of water here as well ahead of time. So it has this really nice, almost like a barbecue sauce consistency, if you will. So we will brush that on top. And I do like adding it, as opposed to adding it before I seared the chicken breast, which of course there's going to be sugars in here. I don't want that to char. I want it to really just be that last thing that I do before it gets tossed into the oven. So through the magic of television, ta-da, cooked chicken. So we've got our chicken. I've got already, because why wouldn't you, a little dollop of some aged cheddar mashed potatoes, because I couldn't not put cheese in it. And then I'm going to do my salad, and then you'll see the whole plate come together in a very festive motif. So I've got curly kale, very hearty, lasts a long time, really good actually if you want to pre-marinate it, so it makes it great for bulk, makes it great for transportation. If you've already got a pre-dressed salad that is then going to travel to a customer, the kale will hold up, especially the curly kale. What I'm going to add into it here is I've got some pickled plums, so again going on with kind of that plum motif for the holidays. And I've got pistachios, a little pricey, but of course you can add other seeds and nuts to it to give it some sort of crunch, or not at all. It'll be perfectly good without it. I was even thinking some feta cheese might be nice in here, as that like saltiness that kind of goes with the fruit and the lemon. And so this is where we're getting the lemon. is our lemon za'atar vinaigrette. So that is a Hellman's vinaigrette. Again, that lemon in there kind of has a little bit of like a Meyer lemon flavor to it. So a little bit floral, but with that bright citrus note to it. So we're just going to go ahead and dress our greens.
Amy, I heard that she maybe said it's feta with feta. Did you hear that too?
Oh, I did hear that. Yeah, it's feta with feta.
Feta with feta? I should work with the Cheese Council and just start coming up with their advertising slogans. All right. So we're going to, I'm going to toss the pistachios in here. And then, just because I thought it was cute, we are going to make like a little wreath around our potatoes. What? Are you kidding me?
So cute.
Right? I thought so too. So even if you had like dried cranberries or whatever, and especially with the curly kale, you know, I know all I got going on here is a Christmas sweater, but I felt like the food in itself made it more festive. Of course, because we're going to be doing some photos later, I'm going to very strategically place my pickled plums. So again, and it would be feta with feta. Maybe I'll add some later. And the piece de resistance will be the chicken. Oh, perfect. So I'll just give that a little bit of a slice. I've already deboned it. I don't know how much I'm going to fit on there. Let's just do, oh, it's just beautiful, if I say so myself.
That
so you can
delicious.
see very festive meal, but it's like an all-in-one meal, right? So you have all the sides you could possibly need if you're looking to give your your customer, you know, fully finished dish, lots of flavor complexity, kind of traditional, but not the same old, and really, really easy to achieve with just a few different flavors to some very basic ingredients.
I like what you said there, mainly because something I've noticed for us foodie types that work in the industry and you know have the privilege of trying some very unique and different stuff. I love what you've done is you've created something that I think for a lot of people who are willing to try something a little bit but not go too far, you've created a dish that they'll like share with their friends and everybody will be so impressed, and yet it's not really that scary. Somebody that's not comfortable trying things would probably try all the things that are in there, right? So
exactly. And it's all in how you choose to kind of market it, right? Yep. So what do you emphasize? Is it the pickled plums? Is it the umami? Is it the lemon za'atar vinaigrette, right? Or is it downplaying some of those things and just really going on the traditional? So absolutely. I wish you guys were here to share it with me.
I think you definitely hit on a lot of the kind of those mainstay, like I said earlier, when you were doing the mushrooms, those mainstay fall and winter flavors with the kale, the pickling, you know, all those things. I think the other thing about that dish too is that it lends itself to being able to be something that can go out in like a meal kit or a part of a family meal bundle, because the components can be separated and then combined at home by the patron. So I think that's a great one to consider as well.
With of course clear directions to make it a wreath.
No, seriously, I love that, what you're saying. And folks, feel free to steal the pictures when they put them up on Instagram later, but that's a great idea. Like, have them deconstruct it. So you take the picture of what it's supposed to look like. And I gotta say, I know some people are doing this, but a lot aren't. You know, not only give me my stuff deconstructed, but show me what it's supposed to look like so that I can build it and take pictures and brag about you on social media. Hello, free advertising.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea for sure. I think, you know, there's a lot, you know, you think about the different kind of meal kit things that are out there. They always give you a picture of what it looks like at the end with all your different steps. So there's no reason that a restaurant operator can't do the exact same thing. All right. I think that we're heading over to Jeanette.
Well, so now we're going to take you a little over the top. Kevin, I'm not sure if you're ready for this one. Are you ready?
I was expecting for the shot to come back and someone in your family to just be lost in that pancake, like kind of like you scrambling to get out of the picture. Anyways,
yeah.
I'm not ready. So no, I'm not ready.
Well, this one we're going to take you over the top. We are seeing this trend come up in some kind of to-go scenarios, but this is the trend that catches the eyes in the dining room. So this is the trend that is definitely indulgent, and it is freak shakes. We saw a little bit of this prior to the pandemic. Obviously, the pandemic made it a little more challenging, but as we get back in to our restaurants, we want those desserts, and we talked about this before in previous shows, that catch the eye and take the extra round around the dining room. So we're going to play a little bit with some cheesecake slices. We always have our, traditional, beautiful, well-decorated, plating. That's beautiful and tastes amazing, but let's take it a little over the top. And there's a couple amazing things about this. It can still be cost effective. We know labor is a challenge, so this doesn't have to be pretty. This is not about intricate plating. This is about creativity. So if you've got those kids back in the kitchen, absolutely. They're going to love making this stuff because everyone's going to look a little bit different. I have gone ahead and I have made a mess of my glass. I've even gone ahead and added a little bit of candy cane to the chocolate. Now I've made this as a shake. If in your operation shakes are made at the bar and desserts are made in the pantry, in the kitchen, you can go ahead and just scoop this with ice cream. It doesn't have to be in a shake form, but I've gone ahead and made it that way today. So I've made a vanilla shake. I have added some of the crushed up candy cane to that as well. And earlier, you might remember I threw a couple of those cheesecake minis in there. So this is already a peppermint cheesecake shake.
Oh, I remember that step.
Exactly. So just pour that one in there and put that guy off to the side. So here's where you start to get creative with it. So I've pulled off one of these cheesecakes from the round. These are all great too. They come with little papers in between, so it makes it easy to handle.
Jeanette, we were wondering when you were going to start getting creative here.
So we're just going to go ahead and just put that right on top. And we're going to add in some extra candy cane just because we can. It's okay if it starts to fall apart a little bit. We're going to also add in, I actually took a brownie and used a cookie cutter and made a little candy cane brownie. So again, if you've got brownies, you're putting in other desserts, easy way to add a little something because, this might need a little extra something. Throwing that in there. A little dollop of whipped cream here in the middle.
I just want to say, I'm not going to mention their names, but look out places that have a insane Caesar. Jeanette's coming for you.
Yep. So this is just it, right? It becomes that a little more drizzle. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Messy is good. All you need to make sure is that this is going to make it to the table because you want it to take that extra, a little bit extra, the candy cane. I always put it on a plate because the plate catches all those extra goodies along the side. And then when that wanders the dining room, right, you're going to wander through, you're going to catch some more attention. It's definitely shareable if you want. Heck, it's lunch today. It's almost it's lunchtime here. Throw your straw in there and away you go.
Wow. I'm ready to get freaky.
It's another show.
But you know what? The one thing I think that a way to market that sometimes is to think about different social media platforms. That visual, you take some shots of that. Instagram's great spot to show that. But don't forget about platforms like TikTok if you're not on there, and to kind of market that to the younger consumer who might be jumping all over that to have that dessert. It can be viral. There's a ton of great recipes that are food concepts that have come about from TikTok, and we have a show coming up in the next week or two focused about that. So definitely a great platform to market something like that for sure.
And I'm thinking, if I can add to that, I love the idea of like a like and share contest, but it's like, show us your reactions. And so because we're all imagining it right now. Like, I love what you said, Jeanette. This comes out, if this is an in-house, like if this is an in-restaurant thing, and it comes out and the look on people's faces when they see this, like what an amazing social media post to be sharing. I think people would be very proud to share that sort of thing on behalf of your business.
Well, this is just it. Even if you make one in the kitchen, we all want our average check to go up. So if this is one of those ones, maybe it doesn't go with the picture on the menu because everyone will look a little different. But middle of your dinner period, when that restaurant's full again, please let that all come soon. This just takes a round through the dining room, and it's going to sell itself as you do it. So it doesn't, as I said, it doesn't have to be pretty. It can get creative. Get those teenagers involved in your kitchens, and have a lot of fun with it.
That's awesome. The one thing that the product that you used in there, the New York cheesecake, it really is a blank canvas for a lot of different things. I think Kevin and I were chatting about that product just the other day. We were back in the day when they launched that, we were part of an event where they actually had like a cheesecake bar, because it is such a blank canvas and you could do literally anything you wanted with it. So, you've shown one very exciting application for it, but you can actually use it and put your own spin on it in the kitchen with different flavors or toppings or, those types of things. So you really a great product to be just the start of something special.
Think about popcorn, think about potato chips, think about, countless different ideas. It's all about those unique combinations of flavors that just come together in a way you never expected.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Awesome. Thanks, Jeanette. Definitely looks, I'm definitely getting hungrier, that's for sure. All right, let's go back over to Thad at Sterno.
Okay, guys, Jeanette, love the peppermint sprinkles. I'm going to be doing something with those as well. So we covered kind of the traditional look at s'mores, feeding a mass group of people s'mores. Let's talk about something a little more sophisticated. This is something we came up with a few years ago. It's called Clothespin s'mores, and you can see right here, this is on a base. It's got a clothespin and it's got the cracker. It's all in one, so it's great during this period as we're getting out of the pandemic and we don't want lots of hands and fingers touching things. This is an all-in-one kind of application, and it works well for large groups, or it could work very simply in a dining room in a restaurant or for a large cater event. Let me show you how we did this. So this is a simple cedar plank. You would cook fish on something like this. These right here are something called doll pin stands. They look just like this. And then we glued them with wood glue right onto here. You get these at a craft store. Little kids make these little dolls with them where they put the legs in here and they make a doll out of it. But we're going to do the reverse. So we've glued these on here. This is going to be the clothespin that fits right in there. And let me show you how we put this all together. So like Jeanette, we are going to use peppermint sprinkles. I have peppermint in a Ziploc bag here, and I'm going to crush these until we get a nice and loud. And then we're going to add them to this bowl that you see here. Next, we are going to take our marshmallow and we are going to cut it like so. So we have these halves. We'll make 2 clothespin s'mores right here. I have some melted chocolate in my little slow cooker, and I'm going to add this right like this. And this, like so. And then I'm going to add the marshmallow. I'll get a little chocolate on there. And then the sprinkle of peppermint. That kind of stuck together in the warm weather here, which you can see on our finished product. And then we would put these on a sheet pan and put them in a refrigerator or freezer for 15 or 20 minutes. And then the clothespin goes right on here like so. After that's nice and hard, we would place it right into the clothespin holder like this. That was coming off. But you get the final look right here. Really nice presentation. You could do half sizes or full sizes. You could do a full sheet of these, but these are great because guests can do them themselves as far as roasting them themselves, or you can have it attended by a chef. The one thing I would recommend if you have a chef attended station is that you allow the guests to blow out the flame instead of the chef. It can kind of roast them out, especially during this time. But it's getting nice and hot and melted, and there you go. So great for a group, great for small tables. It's super creative, just like Jeanette's idea that we just saw. People see this on tables, or they see this and still want it for their event as well. So some creative ways to do s'mores. We've got the traditional and the clothespin.
Love it. So that looks easy to accomplish as well. So that's one thing that we always like to see, is things that are easy to do and don't require a lot of steps. So very, very good. I like that. Kev?
I am just like, I'm loving the different ideas that you've come up with that, using that vessel, you know, like I think far too often someone thinks of fuel and it's like, and I just love that you have just taken it into a whole new stratosphere.
Awesome. Very nice. All right. So before we kind of go on, let's roll over to a commercial and then we'll come back.
Hey, I'm Ryan Smoke, Chief Entertainment Officer at Smoke's Poutiner, and I'm bringing you the newest international entertainment show, Food by Partners at Cisco Virtual Kitchen. Can you believe they're actually giving me my own show? You gotta be there! September 30th!
All right. So let's go back over to Kyla.
I love, Amy, that you just didn't. I don't think anybody has as much energy as Ryan. That was an amazing ad. And
I know.
Everybody in for that. I wish I woke up like that every morning.
I actually do, but yeah.
Well, I know Kevin does. That's different.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
We have one last dish here, but it could not be more simple, and you can absolutely see how it forays into a variety of different applications. And this is actually using the Knorr culinary cream. So for those of you that have not seen this, it is a bechamel replacer. It can act as a heavy cream in a variety of recipes. However, it is a fraction of the cost of heavy cream or making a bechamel from scratch, obviously with the consistency. It's gluten-free, it's vegetarian. So again, you can see tons of uses for it. And what I'm going to do here is really make this what brings my cauliflower gratin together. And I'm going to make it a little fancy by adding a little truffle oil to it. But other than that, super easy components. So I've already measured out my culinary cream mix. Again, you know, I keep saying easy, but now you're going to see it. I'm just going to add water. I'm not going to even cook this ahead of time. I'm going to mix it directly into the bowl that I have here. Obviously, you can see me doing it. But it's going to thicken right away. So you already have a very good idea of what the consistency is going to be like in the final application. You can also use this, put it together and have it holding in a cold well as well. But as long as you really bring it to that temperature that we recommend by the end of the cooking process, which obviously we will do with the gratin because it's going to go into the oven. So I've got mine. And here, I'll just show you the consistency of it. So nice, thick, not the nicest sound as it's hitting it, but the consistency that you're hoping for with a bechamel. I've got my parboiled or slightly blanched cauliflower, because this is going to be super, super quick, right? You can have all these things already ready. Parmesan cheese, or any cheese you like. I personally, around the holidays too, when I think about cheese items, I think about things that go into fondue or raclette. These could be really nice on here too, depending on how much you want to spend on your cheese items. And then, like I said, I'm just going to add a little dollop of truffle oil, which I think is the most cost-effective way to be able to get that truffle flavor in there. I'd love to have an actual shaved truffle, but alas, we are not made of money. So, oh, nice thick consistency here. And I'm just relying on the salt from the cheese and from the culinary cream, which is actually not overly salty, which is nice because you can build on it. as my seasoning. So again, the consistency of that. The other thing too that's good to note is that this product is actually also freeze thaw stable. So if you want to prepare it as such, and then either portion off for someone to take home and reheat later, or whatever the case may be, it will reheat perfectly well without any splitting, made as is. And to top this off, more of the same. Breadcrumbs, cheese, mostly cheese, a little bit of truffle oil. I like to do that when I've got my little crumble on top. I was going to just use my hands there for a hot minute, but I will use a spoon. Mix it all together. This I will add a tiny bit of seasoning to. And really, that's it. So it would be the same sort of situation if you wanted to make a mac and cheese or a root vegetable gratin or a white lasagna or mix it cold, assemble, either freeze it for later, or you can bake it right away, which I will have to do so that we can share pictures of this deliciousness as it starts to brown and bubble up for our IG people. And that's it.
Wow. I think that would be a great alternative to like a mac and cheese side, a little bit different, not pasta with the cauliflower, and a great fall winter vegetable to use. You definitely see an increase in cauliflower at this time of year. So I would be excited to have that for a dinner or a side with my turkey or something like that as well.
You know what it was, Amy, too, that really got me on how do I make these vegetable sides really exciting is that I would get invited to these family dinners where thankfully they didn't rely on me to cook everything, but it would be, what can I bring? And they'd be like, oh, bring a side, bring a vegetable, which is always kind of like, well, that's not the fun part. So I'd be thinking like, how can I upstage the turkey or the prime rib with a veggie side? So that's kind of been my goal ever since.
Nailed it.
That.
I like that. Upstage the turkey. It's almost like a hashtag or a tagline that needs to,
Kevin,
especially.
you can have it.
Well, I just think of where we're moving as a society, right? There is more people that are choosing to eat less meat or more that just aren't. But I love. I think we I don't want to say we joked about this at the beginning, where like apparently a salad was acceptable as, oh, here's our vegetarian option. I feel like now it like sides are big. Like I feel like sides are getting tons of respect. So very well said and well done, Kyla.
Thank you very much. And thank you so much for having me here. This has been amazing. And now we have to wait a few more months till Christmas is actually here, or the holidays.
You can keep wearing that sweater.
Yep.
My very Canadian Christmas sweater. Yeah.
Very good.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me an excuse to wear it in 25-degree weather.
Thanks, Kyla. All right, let's go over to Jeanette.
So I am over here, by the way, I jingle through mine. So I've been jingling through the whole thing. So that's me, you can hear in the background. I'm over here thinking about a side for my dessert. Is that wrong?
Nope.
Okay, just checking. Thanks, Kev.
You're wrong if you weren't.
So no, I was sitting here playing with, a couple more a simple catering ideas to skewer those little desserts up. I'm just going to go ahead and add it to the shake because really, why not? The sky's the limit to what you can do here and get creative with. The whole point of really my session today is that we are getting into this decadent world of desserts, of indulgence. Think roaring 20s. That's where we're headed. That's the kind of goal we're headed for, is this celebratory feeling. And maybe I'm a few steps ahead, but I'm looking forward to it. So tons of simple ideas, easy to execute, but yet over the top ideas that, make it easy in the restaurant to just take it that little extra further indulgent step.
Yeah, great comments there, Jeanette. Definitely the roaring 20s are coming, and that concept of people becoming a little bit more indulgent, a little bit more open to doing, back to better, different experiences, then, it's definitely on its way. It's coming. So I really like the things that you showed today.
If it's not coming, we're going to make it come, Amy.
Oh,
let's make it happen.
There we go.
Thanks, everyone.
All right, let's go over to Thad for some final words.
Hey, Thad.
Hey, great stuff from our co-presenters. Thank you so much for having us. Really enjoyed working with you, and thanks for inviting us to take part. Remember, if you are doing s'mores for the holiday or any other time during the year, you want to make sure that you're using the ethanol product, the Sysco ethanol product, which has a green fuel that burns for 2 hours. Remember, that can gets very hot, so handle with care. It is an open flame, and when you're extinguishing it, always use a large spoon right over the top to snuff it, and wait for about 15 minutes before you handle the can. Again, creativity is the name of the game here. You can be as creative as you like. We did the very basics here, but you can use artisanal crackers, bespoke chocolate, all sorts of different kinds of really creative marshmallows to get your s'mores bar going. And this is great for a single family at a table or for a large event. You've got this here, which is just a miniature version of something much greater, and of course the Clothespin s'mores. I hope everyone has a great holiday season. Thanks so much for having us.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So Kev, I have enjoyed this first hour. We're going to be back again at 1 o'clock and then again at 3 o'clock. So we've got some, as we said earlier, some mini shows today. We got some more exciting ideas coming. Are you excited?
I'm very excited.
Yeah.
You have to say this group really raised the bar high, but I'm excited for more.
Yes, I am too. All right. Well,
okay.
I'll see you again shortly. All right. All right. I'll see you soon.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
We'll see you later.